because my whole life has changed. I can make $250 in 20 minutes. What if I can cut it down to 10 minutes? Basically, I ended up learning information. The guy ended up exposing me when I went and got my taxes done. He's like, hey, I see something special in you. He ended up inviting me to work at his tax company. Worked for him. He didn't pay me right, all that. Next year, I cashed out, opened my company. First 4 months in the industry, I didn't know how to do anything other than type in name, number, birthday, information off of your W-2s. The system calculated a refund for you. I got $250 in 20 minutes, and guess what? I just rinsed and repeat that, baby. Once I've seen I can make $250 in 20 minutes, I'm staying up all night. There's no such thing as sleep January through April.
Welcome to another episode of the Legacy Inspired Podcast, where I am your host. I'm your guy. My name is Randy. Going to be talking about everything entrepreneurship. And this podcast is for, if you don't know already, is for new and aspiring entrepreneurs. Those of you that are working a 9-to-5 right now currently, but you have this God gift on the inside and you're trying to figure things out on how to transition from job 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship. And I want to say, guess what? I'm on the journey with you. I'm currently working a 9-to-5 as we speak, but I am yet working on my side gift, on my gift on the side. And so this podcast is going to be a lot of talking head like you see right now, but I love to interview. And it'll be nothing short of an amazing episode because I have a special guest in whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for, a dynamite in her space. She is a firecracker in her space. She is making things happen. I'm not going to even do it a service to even introduce her. I want her to introduce herself. All right. And so without further ado, let me bring her on. Oh, there she goes.
What's going on?
I know I just mentioned your name, but I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. It is going to be a remarkable time. She is so down to earth, y'all. She is so down to earth. She is personable. And so I just want her to just be her. I'm going to just ask a few questions, but I just want her to give all of the game. She is a, what would you call yourself? You're a coach. You're a tax professional, tax business professional. You have people with their taxes. You do it all.
Yes. So I consider myself a builder because I build businesses, I build people. By way of that, I happen to own a tax preparation and accounting firm, and I've taken my business digital, just meaning, now I coach people in the digital space, no matter what state you're in, how to be able to build, a 6-figure firm working 4 months a year, by way of the tax industry.
Awesome. Well, that's a great introduction. And so I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and just coming on and just hang with your boy. I've been following you for quite some time. And ever since I've been following you, you've been so kind, you've been so generous. And so we connected on Instagram. And so and there's a lot of bots going on Instagram. And so when you followed me, I said, hold on, is this a bot or is this the real person? And so when I found out it was a real person, I was just so honored. And so without further ado, just introduce yourself to the people. Let the people know who you are.
Yes. So I am Coach Cortney Rose. I have been a business owner since I was 23 years old. I've never been self-employed because I started out day one with the team managing people. I knew that I was called to lead. I was called to help. And so day one, I built my firm, at 23, I'm 35 now, serving taxpayers, working 4 months of the year. After those 4 months were up, then I'd be able to work on my life personally. So I simply do something as simple as I have served taxpayers. I serve taxpayers. I build business owners, while building this amazing life outside of the tax season. I work 4 months of the year so I can be able to do purpose work the other 8 months of the year, because I believe that, life is so much more than dollars and cents. And
Right.
so we want to make sure that we're able to enjoy that.
That's wonderful. How I want to take it back. Let's take it back. Let's moonwalk back to day one. Day one. This is pre-coach Courtney. Let how did you what was that like? Let's talk about your genesis, your inception. Let's talk about the beginning before you became coach, before you started doing taxes, before you became this guru in your industry. In my opinion, before all of that, let's talk about pre-Courtney, Coach Courtney.
Oh, for sure. So pre-coach Cortney Rose, I was working a job for a company, a bank, a pretty big bank. I was in the bankruptcy department, servicing the clients that the bank served. When I was sitting at that job, you know, prior to that job, my whole life, I think since I was a child, I've always known that like, Court, you're meant for more. Like, even when I would hang out with friends, when I would just throughout life, I've always had this feeling of like, this is not really you. You're meant for more. And so over the course of life, you just kind of ignore it. You just kind of ignore it. And so I managed to just live my life. And then, opportunity presented itself in 2023 for me to be able to learn the tax industry, sitting at that job, realizing like, man, God, I know that I'm meant for more. I know that I'm not meant. Jobs are not a bad thing at all, but I know for me, I'm not meant to spend my life, exchanging it for dollars and cents and not be able to have the time to be able to do what you've called me to do. I don't even know what that is right now. I just know that I'm called to give of my life more, and I'm not doing it. And so basically how Coach Courtney even came about was, I would just always make myself make good decisions. When I was 13, 14, 15, there's always been a coach inside of me that was telling me to go and study, to push myself, to turn the other cheek. And so I didn't even recognize all these years I've been coaching myself, or God had placed this coach inside of me to coach me to these high levels, to coach me to levels of success that I didn't even know that was possible. And so Coach Courtney, before this was just a girl that was broken, that was, looking for love, didn't have, she didn't have a set of values. She didn't value herself. She didn't feel beautiful. She didn't feel worthy. She didn't feel good enough. She didn't feel, she just knew that she was meant for more. She knew that there was something special about her, but she just thought like, man, I'm probably going to have to settle in this life, because when I look around, everybody else is settling as well. But deep on the inside, I do kind of believe God's word. And I do believe that God says that, that he owns the cattle in the field and a great life is possible, but is it ever really possible for it to happen for me? And so Coach Courtney had just been coaching this girl, coaching Courtney to believe that, okay, maybe lean on God's word, maybe test out God's word. And as I begin to just kind of trust that over the years, I begin to learn and, step into this person. And so that's really who I am. Did I answer your question?
Yes, 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 yes. Can no one answer the question better than you can? When it comes to your origin story, I believe that's a sum of who we are, and that's how we have become what we are today. And so I believe a lot of people that are going to listen to this podcast, they want to know. They don't want to know how to make millions. They don't want to know how to become a multi-billionaire, and all of those. Some that may be so far fetched beyond their imagination. And so this conversation is going to meet them right where they are. They're on on their job, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And so I want you to talk. I want you to talk about, okay, you're a tax professional now. Did you go to college for this?
Sure. So I went to school for accounting. I dropped out. So just a quick little backstory. My mom we were life experiences happened. Parents were married, they divorced, right? After the parents divorced, then, my mom jumped out there in the real estate industry. She started making money, became really successful really fast. Somebody on her team ended up embezzling money and, basically robbing her while she was working so hard in her business. And we ended up losing everything like this. During that time period, I was forced to drop out of college and come, relocate here with her and just be supportive and help her build. I happened to meet a guy that, introduced me into the tax industry. And, he taught me enough for me to be able to say, okay, cool. I know a little bit of information. I'm going to take that little bit of information I learned in college, those few years studying accounting. I'm going to take the information that this real life business owner gave me. I'm going to pair this experience with the 1.5 years of college, and I'm going to open up this company, and this company is going to work. So did I finish college? I did not. But what got me to success was commitment to the vision, information, somebody that exposed me to the industry, and then, a relentless work ethic of like, listen, anything that I possibly need to know in order to be successful is on a shelf. So I just need to take the time to find a way to get that information off of a bookshelf and into my mind so I can be able to teach it to the people. And that's how I've been able to build a business. It wasn't through college, and early on it wasn't through a coach. Later on now I have those, I have coaches and counsel, but it wasn't through a college degree. It was through a hunger and a tenacity and a drive to be able to shut down everything other than, what I needed to know, getting rid of TVs and books and everything possible, not reading the wrong books and picking up the right books and not going to parties and, and basically beginning to identify, okay, Court, you're going to have to sacrifice, because if not, you're going to forever be on this job that you don't believe that you're called to be. You're going to forever be in this place. So you're going to have to change in order for life to change. So I just begin to audit my life, and I begin to identify, okay, let me pay attention to what everybody else on a job does. When they get off work, they go watch TV. When they get off work, they go and they're talking. They're not intentional with their time. Wow, the only time somebody's tracking our KPIs, our key performance indicators, tracking what we do and how fast we get it done is when we're on the clock. What would happen if we governed our life in such a way whereby when we're off the clock, when Randy clocks out, when everybody clocks off, then that's when they actually begin to work as though they're on now a whole nother clock. And they have a boss that's managing their productivity, how many calls they're making, how much they get done. If people wanted to exit their jobs faster, they would begin to manage their free time like they're possibly managed on their job. And I've just held myself to such a standard whereby, year one, I was able to, once I quit my job at 23, 6 figures in that first 4 months, no social media, no digital space, replicate, multiply, and just be able to have continued levels of success because I've continued to hold myself accountable to that standard.
How did you do that? Like what? See, I hear a lot of drive. I hear a lot of moments when you went through self-doubt, but there was always this inner discipline. Like it was like I hear this in your story. Like you dealt with pain, you dealt with self-confidence and having that, but it was also this inner discipline, this inner drive, this inner dog, if you will. How did you manage? How do you manage that? Where did all of that come from? Like how did you get that?
Sure. So I believe by nature, some of us are, we're poodles or we're pit bulls by nature.
Talk about that.
By nature, we are either, meek spirited, passive, not just, that's our personality. We just go with the flow. Or we have that pit bull spirit where we go after what we want and nothing can stop us. When I was a partier, I was a party. I'm a party the hardest. I'm a stand on bars. And so it's first identifying who you are. Am I a poodle? A poodle is a great, it's a great animal. It's nice, it's kind, but they don't really have that roar, right? And so it's identifying who you are. So I recognize my wiring was I've always been a pit bull, somebody that went after things. So now I just redirected who I was into an area that was productive and positive. Now, Court, direct all this energy, all this passion, all this, go all the way out, now into what you want to build in your life. Does that make sense? So I've
Yeah.
always been this person, but take into consideration, I became a business owner and when we lost everything, when it was me seeing, my family possibly not be able to make it. It
Hold
was
on. So when was that? Like what year was that?
that was like 2007, 2008.
2008. So your family lost everything.
Yes.
So what was your mental space at that time?
Sure. So my mental space at that time is, this won't be my life forever. If I don't get up, it'd be days where I came in and my mom would just be laying down. And I would just get so irritated because I'm like, yeah, this is a situation. And I was, 19, 20, I was so young, but I'd be thinking like, man, if I stay in this house with her and be sad with her, nothing is going to ever change. Our life will stay exactly where we are. If you lay down, you stay down, And so I began to recognize, okay, cool, Court. So I would just get out of the house and go to the gym and read a book and sit in the gym. I didn't know what to do, but I knew sitting in the house, laying down, watching TV, doing nothing was never going to get our life to another position. So me seeing her be, frozen in a moment, because when you experience such a difficult thing, life freezes you, where you just want to stay down and lay down and feel. And I get that completely, but it fired something in me to be able to realize, like, listen, that's not the best idea. That's not going to get my family to where we're trying to go. So it forced me to search for information, figure out what is it that I can do to be able to possibly bring in income, okay, what side hustle? And that's when I just began to, I would sell the clothes out of my closet. I would go to half price bookstores. I would go to thrift stores and get books for 50 cents, take those books for 50 cents, take them to half price bookstores, and they would give me $2, $3. There was this website called freecycle.org where they give away everything for free. I would look to see what they're giving away, TVs, furniture. I would have them. Me and my dad, we would go pick it up, and then I would turn around and I would post it on Marketplace and I would sell it. So something in me, just this internal drive began to kick in, and I began to recognize, if I lay down, I'll stay down. I lay down every day. If I don't just do something, if I don't figure it out, went in my closet, took everything out of my closet, sold everything. I just began to recognize my life is not going to get better if I depend on somebody else to cut me a check. So, Court, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God's called us to create. So, Court, what is it that you need to create? Learn how to do makeup, hair, whatever it took. I was finding a way. And then eventually I went and got my taxes done, and the guy sat across the table from me. He said, man, I see something really special in you. You do? Because I was just on this, I just had this thing going of, I knew I was building something. I didn't know where I was going or when it was going to happen. And everything came together. He ended up exposing me to the industry. That's how I learned taxes. And after I ended up bringing him a ton of clients. He ended up not paying me $1, like he was supposed to. I could have spent my entire life, being angry and mad and replaying that story. My dad is a thug. So my dad was ready to, to go to war with him the wrong way. And I said, no, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to use everything that I can to be able to build from this. That next year, I cashed out my little baby 401k, had like $5,000 in there. I opened my company, partnered with a gentleman, and that's when I was 23, and I never looked back. And we didn't have money. People are like, well, when I start a business, what if I don't have any money? It's not possible to not have money. If you have time and you have your hands and your feet, we got tile because I bartered services. Hey, I'll do your taxes for the next 2 years for free. So that's how now granted, I had to learn how to lay tile as well, but there was no such thing as, now I'm going to open my business, but I can't afford to get everything. I need funding. I didn't know how to get funding. I've never got funding to start my business. That's something that's new, cool, and sexy now, where you spice up your application and you get funding as a new business owner. But when I was doing it, when I was building, it was that grind. Okay, Court, that means you're going to have to find a way to be able to buy products offline from China and mark them up. So I was buying, fake MAC makeup for 50 cents and then turn around and go into call center parking lots and selling it for $7, $10.
All while you were working a job.
While working a job all day long. So my coworkers were my first clients.
How much were you working at? How much were you getting paid at your job?
$12 an hour.
So you was making $12 an hour, but you still was finding other things to do to make money. You were bootstrapping yourself together, trying to figure it out.
100%.
Where did this entrepreneurial drive come from?
Sure. So my mom was an entrepreneur. My mom is an entrepreneur. So after her and my dad divorced, she quit her job at the post office and she jumped into real estate.
The post office. Yeah.
Yep. So she jumped into real estate, and I've seen her go from not being able to take care of us, us having to live in a drug transitional home, to things taking off, and when we moved in with her, we were living in like a little mansion in California. So I seen what happens when you fully immerse yourself in something. So I think that definitely got my wheels ticking in such a way, because I seen where we were living and how she just couldn't afford to take care of us. And that's why we were living with my dad in this drug transitional home. So now we're living like this. She buys me a brand new home, when I'm 18 years old, custom built. Like, I seen what happens when you jump all the way in. So, but then take into consideration, she lost everything, right? So she went from jumping in, doing really well, to now we lose everything like this. And then I'm like, what? I just seen you build something from nothing, build it again. Her spirit was bruised. And so I feel like that's when there was an inner baton that was passed, and it literally, and I've just never stopped since.
Speak to that person that's currently working a job, because they hear you. They hear you. They hear you talking. They hear your passion. They hear what you're doing. They hear your story. How do you get that passion? How do you get that dog? How do you get that inner discipline that overrules what you don't want to do? You see what I'm saying? How could you give us some key principles on how to do that?
Yeah. How do you develop that inner dog? So the first thing I'll say is this, and sometimes I close my eyes because it allows me to really focus on the answer and go in versus just, try and give a response. So the first thing I'll say to someone that's trying to pull out that inner dog that's on the inside, that God in them, that power source that knows that they're meant for more, is to first just go. I've done this so many times. Go look at yourself in the mirror and get as close as you can possibly to that mirror. Get nose to nose with it and begin to evaluate 10 years from now. Let your mind go 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Now you're on your deathbed. Are you possibly going to be okay with realizing that what you're currently giving life is what you're going to give life for the rest of your life? Are you okay with how you're doing life? And at the end of your life, knowing that you may have to possibly deal with I should have did this. I could have did this. I would have did this. Shoulda, coulda, woulda has been some of the factors that drive me, even when I don't want to do things, to do them. Because I don't want to have to face those things at the end of my life. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. So that's one thing that I do. Then I begin to ask myself, like, man, in this life, these are conversations that I've had with myself when I have to push myself to show up. There's two types of people in life: people that get what they want out of life and people that settle. Court, who are you going to be? Court, who are you going to be? Court, did you settle today? Court, who are you going to be? Okay, cool. You want a better life then? Okay, cool. It's going to take work. Okay, well, you don't feel like getting up. All right, well, if you stay on this couch, if you watch that show, if you don't spend time in your business, if you don't create marketing material, if you don't show up for the people, if you ignore that client, that you're doing what's comfortable and you're settling and you're allowing yourself to stay here. So as long as you're okay with that, Court, then go ahead and make this decision. And when you start reasoning with yourself in such a way to where you begin to identify, like, man, it's not that I just don't feel like doing it. It's the fact that I recognize that I'm going to stay in this situation if I do what I feel like doing. I'm going to have to continue to budget how much time I have with my kids. I'm going to budget, what neighborhood. I'm going to be limited by the neighborhood that we live in, because I don't want to show up for my business. I'm okay with somebody possibly ripping my job from me, because anything can happen. Nothing is promised to us in this life, and not being able to take care of my family. I'm okay with somebody else determining the quality of life that I live. Somebody else determining if I could afford to put organic food in my body or if I can't. Somebody else determining if I have to, drink, Walmart water. I'm just sorry for that example, or, high quality water, alkaline water. I'm okay with, if my family has a major need and they're on their deathbed, me being able to say, I don't have it, and them having to rely on free health care and whatever health care they provide, because I don't have enough resources stored away to be able to get my family to be able to go maybe, see holistic doctors or see doctors that's going to give them top quality health. I'm okay with somebody giving me a way to do life. And if I'm okay with that, then I'm okay with it. But when you start having conversations and really begin to recognize, like, man, everything in my life can change if I just change. So yeah, I don't feel like doing it.
So
I don't feel like getting up, but I will.
You do a lot of self-talk.
1000%.
You do. Why is that so important to you?
It's so important because we tell we are our parent every single day. We parent, as adults, we parent our children, right? We tell them what to do. We make them do it. Teachers tell them what to do. If they're on the sports team, sports tell them what to do and when to do it. As adults, nobody tells us what to do and when to do it. So because I recognize nobody can make me do anything I don't want to do other than me, I'm going to be my coach. I'm going to be my parent. I'm going to be my teacher. Because if not, I'm not going to get to the life that I want for me. So then I'm like, okay, cool. There really isn't anything that has to stay this way in life if I just change. And of course, it's constant communication with the Creator, constant communication with God, constant communication, constant time in worship. God, do I represent you? Am I lazy? Man, when I go and I look in the mirror and I see these little jelly rolls and popped up, that shows me that you lack discipline. Will God have... I start getting I start talking real tough to myself.
And that's the thing.
He's a God of discipline and order. And if we're going to serve him, we have to serve him.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. We don't want, it's hard to face ourselves. It's hard to face ourselves. And so it's easy to point your hand at somebody else, but it's hard when it comes to pointing the hand at yourself. Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and it's hard to face ourselves in the mirror. Cortney, this is good. This is good. Let's dive a little deeper, because I like where this is going. Why taxes? Because you said you went to school. What school did you go to? What
Texas Southern in Houston.
Okay. H-Town. I like Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I like Houston. And so you how was that journey? Did you all, so I want you to tie this accountant and tax paying professional. I want you to tie all of those things, both of those components together. How did you become the taxpayer? Is that what you call it? A tax professional? A tax professional. Help me out, Cortney. Help me out.
We're in this thing together.
Educate your boy. So you became an accountant. You went to a 4-year. I didn't become an accountant.
And I do have a degree. That's right.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Very good. So I went to school for accounting. My mom said, hey, Court, you need to go to school for accounting because they make a lot of money. She was paying her CPA a ton of money. So I went to school for accounting. My mom was paying for college. When we lost everything, I dropped out of college and I relocated here to help her during that transition, right? She was paying for college. I need to be here. She didn't have the money to be able to pay for college. I didn't want to take out student loans, X, Y, and Z. So I dropped out of college and I didn't do anything with school anymore. I just managed to just be on my hustle, like we talked about, selling things, doing things here. However, I was always committed to, professional development. So what do I mean by that? I was always, I've had this drawing towards just learning information. When I was a little kid, my mama buys.
What books were you reading during that time?
Oh, sure. So there was one book that really changed everything about how I see, or two books in particular that really changed a lot. And it was From the Trash Man to the Cash Man by Myron Golden.
Myron Golden, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki, right?
Those were the two books. And then the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That was the third book. But I would literally reread From the Trash Man to the Cash Man. And he taught me basically the principles of money and how to budget your money and, how to look at money and the different quadrants of, where you are in your business, right? And so basically, while working that job, while I was on my job, on my lunch breaks, I would be, watching podcasts, watching Les Brown and Eric Thomas, and, and then on the weekends, I began to go to Barnes and Nobles, and I just began to just read. I didn't know why I was reading. I never liked reading, but I was just like, my mom always, said, like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, right? Expecting different results. So I just began to recognize, like, I have to learn more. In order for me to be able to do more, do something different, I have to learn more. So basically, I ended up learning information. The guy ended up exposing me when I went and got my taxes done. He's like, hey, I see something special in you. He ended up inviting me to work at his tax company. Worked for him. He didn't pay me right. All that. Next year, I cashed out, opened my company. So first 4 years, my first 4 months in the industry, I didn't know how to do anything other than type in name, number, birthday, information off of your W-2s, and the system calculated a refund for you. I got $250 in 20 minutes, and guess what? I just rinsed and repeat that, baby. Once I seen I can make $250 in 20 minutes, I'm staying up all night. There's no such thing as sleep January through April, because my whole life has changed. I can make $250 in 20 minutes. What if I can cut it down to 10 minutes? I just begin to reverse engineer this thing. Okay, cool. In order for me to be good, how much money do I need to make? So after the 4 months was up, I realized, man, Court, you really don't know a lot. And you're kind of embarrassed because you didn't finish college. So I never marketed myself. I was forced to just go out. I was just forced to go out and create conversation with people. They would ask me what I did. I would let them know what I did. And they were like, oh, well, can I come do my taxes with you? It wasn't because I was target marketing them, because I was too insecure to market myself, because I knew I didn't have a degree and I wasn't an accountant. But I was always comfortable enough to just make connection, because I recognized we're all people and I had an objective to be able to hit my goal. And so basically, once the 4 months was up, then I would just now take the time to learn information. So then every off season, because you only work January through April, you make $100,000 at minimum in those 4 months. You go hard enough, then guess what? Then the other 8 months of the year, you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do. So those 8 months, I'm in Barnes and Nobles, I'm learning information, I'm realizing IRS has tax forms. So I'm just sharpening my tools. Then I'm self-educating, because now I realize, oh my goodness, this is my real life career. I don't like pretending like I have answers that I don't have. When a client asks me a question, when I'm across the other side of the desk and stumbling and fumbling for words, trying to sound educated when I don't really have a response. You know what I mean? Right. And so I just managed to learn information every year. And then me being a business owner, then I'm a business owner. So I went from, having no business to now a business. So I'm learning because I have to file my own taxes. Right. So I'm learning because the company numbers are growing. I'm hiring people. So it forced me to learn, on all levels, research. And then I began to hire coaches and everything else. And it was just been an expansion of me putting myself, in places and environments and consuming information that allowed me to help take my business to the next level. But it wasn't ever like an educational institution. And now the cool thing is this: when people say, are you an accountant or a CPA? No, I'm not. But the cool thing is I have accountants and CPAs on my teams at EAs, because they have the knowledge, right? They have that level of information, but maybe they don't have the clientele. So now I'm just taking my clientele. They need the service, and I have now I have the people on my team to be able to support them. So when they don't want to sit with me because I don't have the degree, then that's fine. That's absolutely okay. I have someone on my team that can help you.
How many people on your team?
God, let me write that. So during tax season, this was my smallest tax season, and there was 7 of us. But I've had teams upward of like 15 people, and I have 2 companies that work at the same time. So, Coach Cortney has 7 people, 8 people right now year round. And then tax time is 4 months of the year. So, I've been going deeper and not wider. So now I'm shaving people down, but I would have like 13 people on my team at one time. This past year, we shaved it down to like 7 people, I want to say. Right. And this was our smallest year ever.
And so if somebody want to do what you're doing now, what are the steps? What are the necessary steps, frameworks, A to Z, 1 to
Sure.
100, what are the steps of becoming what you're doing right now?
Yep.
If
Some
somebody,
action.
if somebody say, I like numbers, because I'm
Yep.
sure you have to like numbers to a certain extent. Maybe no,
Nope.
correct me.
You have to like freedom.
You just have to like
You
freedom
have
in
to
order
like
to do what you
freedom.
do.
You have to have integrity. You have to have a
Okay.
heart to serve people. You have to have a heart to like own your time.
Okay.
And because the computer is going to do the work. And then
Okay.
once the mind frame of understanding the algorithm like of taxes, then you understand every single tax scenario. But nonetheless, if I wanted to give you like, if you want actual key steps of what to do from A to Z.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that those that are in your field and doing what you're doing, you have to at least, I mean, love numbers to a certain extent, but you're the exception to the rule.
You don't
So,
have to love numbers at all because you're not a bookkeeper and you're not analyzing numbers all throughout the year. You're
okay.
doing nothing other than taking the information off of
Okay.
a sheet of paper and you're putting it into the system, and the system is going to do all the calculating for you. It's going to tell you what the return is. Then you say, okay, I spent 10 minutes on this. I want to charge $100 for 10 minutes. I spent 20 minutes on this. I want to charge $200 for 20 minutes. I spent an hour on this. I want to charge $550 or $700 for an hour. And you do exactly that because the work is you getting the information off of this sheet of paper and into the system. Now, when you have a business, it's basically the same. When business owners have their stuff in order,
Right.
they bring you their P&L and you're taking it off the sheet and putting it in.
So they pay you to take information off of a sheet of paper and insert it into an automated system. That's how you're getting paid right now.
That's how you get paid. Now, taking into consideration, there is a level of tax strategy that you could implement with every single tax scenario. But just basic, how I built my company and how tax professionals, how we're able to make so much in such a short little time period, is because you're taking information off of a sheet of paper and putting it into the system.
Cortney.
You're taking information off of a sheet of paper and you're putting it into the system, and the system is doing the calculation, and you tell the system how much you want to charge for this return, and the client says, okay, and they sign electronically, and you've made a few $100s in a few minutes.
Is this your system?
This is every system.
Oh,
every tax system that's out there. Yeah, the computer does the work for you completely. Tax software, I'm not going to try and push my system. I have a system and it's phenomenal, right? Because all of that there's because there's tons of tax professionals out there and business owners that are not thriving, and they do exactly what I do. So I recognize everybody can make chicken, everybody can do taxes, but it's how you do what you do that allows you to be able to make a ton of money.
Ooh, okay, hold on. What makes you different from anybody else then? Why you making because I see you on social media and you're doing well and you're making money, you're helping a lot of people, but there are a lot of tax professionals out there and got tax businesses, but why some make money or thrive or succeed like yourself and some fail? What are they not doing?
Very good. I'll share that with you, but just to make it really easy, and then I'll go into the details. If I fried chicken and you fried chicken, our chickens are going to be different. We can go to the same store. We can even possibly get the same recipe, but how they're going to come out tasting is going to be two totally different places. The environment, the pot, so many things, the information, you may know everything it's going to be a total different experience. So that's the easiest way to frame it, right? That's the first thing. So now let's talk about me in particular. I've recognized, and this is something that I tell, the individuals in my program. It's not what you do. Let me tell you this. In addition to what you do, it's how you do everything. So I've taken the time to develop systems and processes and really think through. If a client comes to us and all they got is their taxes done, and we didn't give them more than a tax refund, then we failed them. They're leaving out with education, information, empowerment. They're leaving out with a whole new way of doing life, doing business. So you're not just coming out. If you walk out of our operation and all you got was a refund, And we can't ask you, what did you learn? What did you take back? What are you going to do different? If you didn't take back something that's invaluable, that's going to carry with you a lifetime, then we failed as an operation. Most tax professional, most business owners, they're just thinking, oh, we just do taxes. So they're focused on, let me try and get this client a great refund, or let me try and, they're focused on the numbers alone. Where I'm focused on the soul that brought the number in. I'm focused on the person that brought those numbers in. I'm figuring out, how can I impact more than their bottom line? How can I impact that person? What can I add to that person? It's the beginning of the year. What can I give that to person? In addition to the deposit that's going to take place in their bank account, what type of deposit can I make in this person? Because if I look at these people as souls that I'm supposed to serve and not dollars that I'm supposed to collect, the business is going to do really well. And
So
that's
so I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. So you don't look at it from a transactional perspective, but you're actually adding value. You actually adding value to the customer, and you give what I like to call an irresistible offer. So you attract them to you, and you give them not just attaches, but you give them like little bitty valuable bonuses for just coming to be with you.
They're getting something. An irresistible offer is even something that's framed, right? Like that's something like, man, you want to create this irresistible offer. I've never framed it in such a way. They're getting something that they can't get anywhere else in the world.
And what is that?
That's a level of experience. That's a level of information. That's a level of education. That's the level of the deposit that I'm going to make into the individual that's working with me. I have clients that have left their jobs and now they have companies. I have clients that have built businesses based off of a conversation that we had, and now their business is making six figures when they just came to me to get their taxes done, and they had no idea that it's not my goal that you leave here. Even if you're making six figures on your job, and if you're telling me that you're unhappy, I need to hear that your life is getting better every single year.
So you're impacting them.
1,000%. And
Gotcha.
I think if first of all, let's talk about this, because this is a spiritual, these are kingdom people. We're called to impact people first anyway. So if I treat my business like it's just a business, then what am I doing? My business is to impact them. In addition to me impacting them, I happen to be able to provide them a service. See, taxes was the vehicle that brought them into my office, but me understand my kingdom duty is to impact every person that I serve, and there's no line of demarcation.
So there's
no separation.
Oh yeah.
If we're going to take care of business, and you don't even know that you're coming in here for your soul to be impacted, because that's my God-given business.
So you turn your business into a ministry.
You can frame it that way, but
that's what I'm hearing.
I just don't compartmentalize my life's purpose with my business. Some people, we compartmentalize. We're like, okay, we'll leave God over there, and we'll do business over here. No, God is everything. God is in me. So everywhere I go, at the gas station, on the phone, when I'm calling to check the balance of my account, when a client comes in, everybody's going to experience God and impact and leaving empowered. And I just didn't realize that that's what I was doing over the years. I just knew that every time a client came, I made it my business to deposit into their soul, in addition to serving their actual business needs. Now, looking back, I understand what I've been able to do and why I've been able to have massive levels of success with never paying for marketing, with never paying for ads, making millions with never having a social media brand, having business cards, having flyers, all the stuff that we think we need. Because I've just been focused on, okay, God, we're called to be light, to be salt. So do I decide where I sprinkle myself? Do I turn off my light when I'm in my business? This is the mindset that I've carried with me. Now I'm able to reverse engineer and understand that's what the thought process has been all along. And these are the things that I teach my team members. These are the things that I teach, those individuals that are part of my community in the tribe. Like, hey, we won't ever go broke if we understand who we're called to be first, and then we actually operate in that in our professional setting. So often we're trying to be something in new environments, and then we're trying to figure out why isn't it working, why I need to be this, and I need to dress like this, and I need to be all these things. No, we need to first identify who is it that you're supposed to be, and let's work on figuring out how you can be all of that. Let's take that dynamite person and let's place them in any industry, and they're going to by default soar. Then it becomes really easy to win in business because you just recognize I need to be how am I disconnected with self? Man, when I go, I'm trying to dress up. I'm trying to put up. Before, when I would go on podcasts and people would invite me out, even I would like think, okay, cool. I need to wear makeup. I need to wear this long hair. I need to wear this professional image. I got to cover up all my tattoos. I can't let people know what I look like and who I am. And now I'm like, no. The truth of who I am is what's on the inside. And too often we water that down to try and be successful. And that's generally what keeps us from success. We water down the truth of who we are. And then we're trying to figure out, well, it's too many people in my market. It's oversaturated. My cousin's doing the same business I'm doing now. I'm mad because they're doing it. Black people, we don't like to work together. Then we just go on all these mental rants in our mind instead of identifying, hey, maybe we're the problem. Maybe we need to do some shifting. Maybe we need to go sit in the mirror and really ask ourselves, who are we? Am I really confident, or does my confidence come from? We just got to start having those real conversations with ourselves. And then after we have those real conversations with ourselves, then go to war. Then go to work on mastering your industry. I say this as well. What allowed me to be able to experience massive levels of success in my industry is nobody likes average. Nobody remembers average in business. So if you're average, you're going to be like a last resort. You know, like the buffet. The buffet is convenient, it's affordable, but if you like had a steakhouse budget every single day, you would probably go to the steakhouse. But people don't prefer average. People aren't going to come and spend top dollar and continuously spend dollars with you. So often we take average into our everyday life, and then we put average and want to play it safe in our business, and then we're trying to figure out why our numbers look like they've been playing it safe. Our numbers have played it safe because we play it safe. It's time for us to rise up. That's what my pastor says all the time, rise up. As kingdom people, we have to begin to understand. It's beautiful that God gave you a job. Learn the systems. Pay attention to how they track you, you have to make so many calls. You have to pay attention to how they do monthly evaluations or annual evaluations. Learn, if you're on a job right now, a 9 to 5, you literally have paid mentorship. That means a company is exposing you to how they manage companies. So you take that direct level of information that you see that they do, how your boss manages you, communicates with you. Now you implement that in your company. Now you directly have, a direct line of like communication in regards to how you should be managing or things that future develop and bring into your business.
You're talking good. Let's get to these principles. If somebody want to become what you are right now, a tax professional, you just laid the groundwork, and it seemed I thought it was very difficult. I thought it was something challenging, but that was my misconception. So I'm learning something too. If someone is battling, trying to figure out what to do, and they like, oh, Cortney, I want to get into that. I don't need a degree. I don't need to be this guru. How do I become what you are now?
Absolutely. So you get a few things. A few of the fundamentals is you need to get an EFIN. It's absolutely free with irs.gov, an EFIN, electronic filing identification number. You need to get a PTIN. It's $39, $40. IRS rates vary. Generally, at the end of the year, you need to get tax software because you have to be able to process the tax returns. I'm going to say you need to take some level of like an entry level course, right? That allows you to be able to have a basic understanding of what a W-2 looks like. to be able to make sure you can identify, oh, okay, cool, this is a W-2 from 2019. So let me make sure I don't put this 29 W-2 with the 2020 tax return, right? So you need a fundamental course. You don't need to try and go and start, doing multi-member LLC taxes right away. In addition to that, you're going to need your tax bank product, which means when people come in, they don't have to pay you up front. I could sit down, process your taxes right now, and charge you $300. And when you get your refund, I get paid too. I charge you $500. When you get your refund, I get paid too. That's your tax bank product. And then you're gonna.
Where's the course? Where can you get these courses?
Oh, very good. So I have them, and I have a free ebook too. So can I share the platform where they can get?
I want you to. We're gonna put whatever product you got. We're gonna put it in the show notes. We're gonna put it in the descriptions. We want people to connect with you. If you want to be a tax professional, just like Coach Cortney Rose, hey, she is your girl. I'm gonna make sure we get you connected.
Yes. So if they text PLATED at 469-457-3083, I'll give them a free, automatically shoots them a free, it's an ebook that basically, it's called the 4 Play to 40K, that teaches them how to start their tax business. And then that'll allow them to get inside information as well. We have a mentorship starting because tax season is around the corner. Some people want to ramp up and make their first $40,000 in 4 months or 6 figures. So if they want to get any information regarding courses, mentorship, then if they text that number there, then they'll definitely get information regarding how to contact me. And then if they come to my Instagram, handle as well, mentorship will be opening up in October. So now's the perfect time to connect with me, kind of see the information that you're learning, make sure you kind of get an idea of my personality, who I am as a person, because I take who I am personally into how I do business professionally and be able to see, hey, if this is a good fit for us. And then be the first to register. Things generally fill up pretty quick, and I don't say yes to everybody just because I'm really committed to what I'm committed to, and I want to see lives impacted. I want people to be able to say, man, I went through that course and it allowed me to be able to have more time with my family, and now I'm able to go to counseling. I'm able to go spend time with my mom. I'm able to be present with life. I'm able to deal with stuff. We generally don't deal with the stuff that we need to deal with because we're so busy in life. Life has us so busy. We're on the defensive side of life.
Right.
We don't start going to counseling. We don't start getting help. We don't start working on our health until we get sick, until the marriage is on its way out. We're never changing things unless things are really bad. And this industry has allowed me to be able to work 4 months. So the rest of the 8 months, I'm able to deliver in such a way. I'm able to be fearless, unstoppable, all these things.
Was it always like that, or is that something you work towards? Like you work 4 months now. Was it always like that?
Oh, from day one. So from January, absolutely. So it's been like this since I started the industry in 2023, because January through April, again, I focus on those basics when I started out, just the basic returns where you're taking the information off the sheet of paper and putting it into the system, right? Okay. Now I have those complex filers, so now they get shuffled over to a team, but you go hard for, 4 months. You make $40,000 in 4 months. You could say, I want to work, or I don't want to work, or, you make $60,000 in 4 months, $80,000 in 4 months, $100,000. You get to decide how you're going to spend the rest of your time. You may spend the last few months of the years preparing, but you're not clocking in or clocking in every day. You're not clocking in or clocking in every day. You're showing up to just prepare in such a way, kind of begin to build things out. Okay, I need to create some content. Okay, I need to update my forms. And if you're in my program, you have a whole roadmap. So I'm giving you everything that I've done that works.
You're giving the game.
Yeah, because why take a bicycle to New York if you could take a plane? You're going to be tired. You might not make it. Most people don't make it to where they're trying to go in life. And respectfully, it's because they're working a little bit harder than they have to. Right. You have to understand, you have to understand your wiring. And if somebody is wired to go hard and they built all this and they love doing it, it was exciting for them, why not take all that power and be able to just apply it in your business and thrive and focus on serving people, serving them well, and marketing, getting over that little fear of marketing. Wow. Why go and try and recreate the wheel? It doesn't make sense to save a little money, but you're going to lose a whole lot of time.
You're talking good. You're talking good. Listen, so that question was for those that want to become who you are. Now, what about those new entrepreneurs that are just starting out, or maybe seasoned entrepreneurs? They can come to you as well, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So
So
how
what
do you,
we
go ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, go
No,
ahead.
no, I want you to go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Very good. So
My
yes,
my
no, 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 no. This is us. So basically, what I identify is there were three levels of individuals that I was working with. Individuals that were brand new to the industry, they knew nothing at all, but they wanted to start. I'm like, oh my goodness, and I want to be able to immerse them into the industry. So we
Mhm.
have Relentless Tax Academy, where they get to come. They don't have to actually go through the entire program of buying, of basically starting a tax business. If they just want to take an institution course, so they can come to Relentless Tax Academy, where they're going to learn enough information to be able to say, hey, do I want to be able to do taxes? Is this something I could build a career with? And then so that's one offer that we have, right? So that's for brand new individuals. If there's somebody that we meet, they're like, no, out the door, I definitely want to start a tax business. I've never done it before, but I know that I want to start a tax business. Then we have a program for them as well, right? You come in, you learn the information. We're going to make sure you get your business branded. You begin to just get those fundamentals in place that often get neglected while learning the tax principles and everything that you need to know to work in your business.
So you
And
have a
then we have,
course.
it's say that again.
So you have a course.
Yes, so we have a course paired with coaching,
Mm.
100%. Yes. And then we have another option. So we have three courses. The Relentless Tax Academy, and then
Mhm.
we have the Foreplay to 40K. It's an individual that's brand new to the industry, but they know that they want to start, a tax business, and they need to be in an environment around a tribe, right? They need to learn the information. They want the fast path to success. And then we have the Foreplay to Six Figures. This is for individuals that are seasoned tax professionals. They've been in the industry, they've done taxes, they know they don't need to really learn the basics, right? They need to learn, okay, how do I get my business from 40,000 to 60,000, from 40,000 to 100,000, from 80,000 to 200,000, whatever there's, man, I'm struggling with building a team. I know nothing about marketing. I have no processes. My clients are hitting me up. It's chaos. I've been serving people all these years, but it's just, they're the person that's doing every single tax return. Their phone is blowing off the hook. They have no order. Maybe they have order, but they're like, man, if I die tomorrow, I couldn't pass this business down to my kids. I want to be able to build a business that if I slaved this hard, if I've worked this hard over the years, if I've built this relationship, what is generational wealth? If I did all this work and I don't have any order, I'm going to pass down chaos and dysfunction to my kids. I don't have an operation I could go on. If something happens, I'm in the hospital. If I want to go on vacation, I'm not in position to be able to go on vacation. Then we have a solution for that individual as well. Just because I've been every bit of those, I've been all three of those people. And so I recognize instead of just grouping them together, I want to be able to meet people where they are and then, really be able to help people get to the goal. Struggling is so hard. The easiest thing I ever had to do was build a business. The hardest thing I ever had to do was make myself be disciplined and probably believe in myself.
Wow.
Believe that it's possible. It's easier building a business.
Mm.
It's easier to hit 6, 7 big numbers. Believing in yourself and discipline is generally the thief. What keeps people on their jobs longer than they want.
Wow. Wow. I got a list of questions here. I cannot go into all of them, but Cortney, can you come back, please?
Absolutely.
Please, can you come back? Can we
Absolutely.
do this? Can we link up? Can we do this again? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Cortney Rose. This is what you get. So when she has a course, if you want to become a tax professional, if you have an inkling, if you have a desire, if you have an interest to do what she's doing right now, working 4 months out of the year, and she already gave you the game. She gave you the game, and I'm sure there's a lot of other nuances to it that she didn't even go into. But I'm sure the course will explain all of that. So definitely patronize her products, digital products. She has a course. She has a coaching program. So she's gonna hold your hand through the whole situation. She's gonna get you right. She's gonna coach you up. She's gonna tell you about yourself and tell you how to get to where you need to go. And so I've been following her. What? How? I don't even know how long I've been following you. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I'm just honored. I'm just honored. I appreciate you, sis. I
I'm
appreciate it.
grateful.
Let's put a bow on this thing. Let's put a bow on this thing. This podcast is called Legacy Inspired Podcast. And so we are inspired to create legacy, not just for ourselves, but for our families, and to also impact lives while in the process. And Courtney, you're doing that. And I want to congratulate you. I want to honor you. I want to give my respects to you, and just appreciate you for what you are doing in your industry. You are a epitome of greatness, success, overcoming the vicissitudes of life. You are a trailblazer. You're a pioneer, and I appreciate you. Brother to sister, I appreciate you for what you are doing. And so, before we shut this thing down, leave the people with something to think about after this podcast. What is that one thing you want someone to walk away with?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sure. Um, God, that's such a loaded question. That's pressure, but I appreciate it. What I'll say is, you only get one life, and with you really, really realizing that you only get one life, make God proud. Don't look to make your kids proud. Don't look to make your spouse proud. Make God proud. It's a beautiful thing to have a job. We're never knocking that. But if He's placed something inside of you, my prayer is that you don't leave it on the shelf of your mind a lifetime. That you don't leave it on the shelf of your mind. That means where people never get to hear it, see it, experience it, taste it. It never gets out there to the world because you were too caught up with everything other than what He's placed inside of you and what He's placed you here to do. Don't get so busy with life and work and games and TV and practice that you forget to tell the founder that placed you here that, hey, I had a place for you in my life. So go all the way out. We're not called to make money. We're called to build. Build. Leave your legacy. And that's my time.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You just heard from a powerhouse, my friend, my sister, Coach Cortney Rose. Thank you, my dear sister, for coming on the podcast, gracing our presence, and I count it an honor. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving our information, her links, all in the show notes. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you?
Sure. So you amazing people, you can find me on Instagram at Coach Cortney with no U. So CoachCortney Rose. You can find me on that's Instagram, TikTok at Coach Cortney Rose. You can find me on YouTube at Coach Cortney Rose. Those are the primary platforms. I'm most active on Instagram right now. Mm-hmm. And everything is there. So Instagram is my primary place to connect with me. Even if you don't buy a product, that's okay. Come and I hope just something that I say ignites something on the inside. If you come to my page and I ignite something on the inside, I just ask that you message me and share that with me, because that's what it's really all about. And so, yeah, that's where we connect. I look forward to connecting with you all.
All right, Courtney, appreciate you, sis. We're going to connect. All right. Grace and peace, everybody. And remember, build that legacy. You only get one.
That's right.
Grace and peace.